Sheila, a vibrant and energetic woman in her early 30s, had a large brood of 4 children to care for. Eager to escape the daily grind and experience a new adventure, she and her husband set out for a snorkeling expedition with a friend. As they waded into the clear and refreshing waters of Peake Bay, South Australia, their hearts were pounding with excitement. The sun was high, casting a warm glow over the ocean's surface. The tranquil sound of waves gently lapping at the shore and the salty scent of seaweed and sand filled the air. With snorkels in their mouths and flippers on their feet, they dove beneath the surface, the cool water enveloping them like a second skin. Schools of glittering fish darted past them, their scales shimmering in the sunlight. Sheila's heart was racing with the thrill of the underwater world and the anticipation of what they would discover. As they swam deeper into the ocean, Sheila's eyes caught sight of something glinting in the sand. It was a scallop, and she knew it was the prize they had come for. The scallops were plentiful in these waters, and soon Sheila and her companions were filling their bags with the delectable delicacies. With their containers overflowing with freshly harvested scallops, the 3 adventurers decided to end their underwater excursion and begin their journey back to the safety of the shore. As they swam through the serene waters, their thoughts drifted to a warm shower and a delicious seafood feast. Suddenly, the peacefulness was shattered by an unexpected violent movement in the water. The 3 friends turned to face the disturbance, and their eyes widened in horror. An enormous form hurtled towards them from the depths of the sea, an ominous shadow looming over the trio. The closer it got, the more the reality of the situation became apparent. It was a 20-foot great white shark, its jaws agape and its eyes locked on the 3 unsuspecting snorkelers. Suddenly, the predator lunged forward, its razor-sharp teeth gleaming in the dwindling sunlight. Sheila tried to evade the attack, but it was too late. Sheila's family watched in horror as the great white shark savagely attacked her. The assault was so sudden and ferocious that they were paralyzed with shock, unable to react in time to save her. The massive predator's razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws were like a monstrous machine, tearing into Sheila's body with unrelenting force. With one swift and devastating movement, it bit her in half, her body thrashing helplessly in the water. The sound of the attack was deafening, the water roiling and churning as the great white shark used its serrated teeth to slice through Sheila's skin, flesh, and bones like a hot knife through butter. The sheer force of the bite was beyond belief, and her family could only watch in horror as the shark continued to attack, its brutal power overwhelming their senses. Sheila's family was gripped with an unrelenting horror, unable to comprehend the tragedy that had befallen them. All that remained of Sheila was her headless torso, a grotesque and haunting sight that floated in the water like a macabre statue. The water was stained with her blood, mixed with the salt water, to create a sickening crimson hue. The family's collective scream pierced the air, a chilling cry that echoed across the bay and cut through the fishermen's hearts like a knife. The fishermen sprang into action, propelled by a sense of urgency and the desperate hope that they might still be able to help. But their efforts were in vain. By the time they arrived, Sheila was already gone, her lifeless form a testament to the savagery of the predator that had attacked her. As the family mourned their loss, the fishermen scanned the water, searching for any sign of the predator that had caused this tragedy. Their apprehension mounted when the shark reappeared, circling Sheila's remains like a hunter stalking its prey. With a violent burst of energy, the great white shark lunged at Sheila's remains with a ferocity that made the water churn and boil. The force of its attack sent a spray of frothy water and blood into the air, creating a macabre display that was equally terrifying and awe-inspiring. The shark's powerful jaws closed around what was left of Sheila's body, tearing through flesh and bone with ruthless efficiency. The water was alive with the thrashing of its massive body as it claimed its prey and retreated into the ocean's depths, leaving behind a trail of blood that seemed to glow like a twisted beacon in the sunlight. As the shark vanished from view, the water fell eerily silent, as if holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. The fishermen and Sheila's family were left to stare in disbelief at the empty space where the predator had been, their minds struggling to comprehend the sheer brutality of the attack. All that remained was the sickening stench of blood and death that lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of the primal power that ruled the mysterious and unfathomable depths of the sea. Despite their best efforts, the authorities scoured the area for any sign of Sheila's missing remains, but the ocean had claimed her entirely. There was no trace of her body, telltale signs of struggle, or the gruesome fate that had befallen her. News of the attack quickly spread like wildfire, capturing the nation's attention and sending a shiver down the spines of all who heard it. The sheer brutality of the great white's attack had earned it a reputation as one of the most savage great white shark attacks ever recorded. For Sheila's family and those who had witnessed the tragedy, the memories of that day would haunt them forever. They had escaped with their lives, but at what cost? The trauma and horror of that day would stay with them always, a heavy burden they would carry for the rest of their lives. As the sun began to peek over the horizon, Edward and his son readied their boat for an adventure around the majestic Cape Howe in Australia. Cape Howe is a stunning cape located at the southernmost point of the Australian mainland and is a natural masterpiece of towering cliffs, rugged rocks, and churning waters that crash against the shore. The captivating landscape is a true feast for the eyes, with its dramatic coastlines, vast expanses of ocean, and breathtaking vistas that stretch as far as the eye can see. Edward and his son were thrilled to be setting off on a journey around Cape Howe, where they would experience the raw power of nature firsthand, with the wind in their hair, the sun on their faces, and the salty spray of the ocean misting their skin. As they set sail, they knew that they were embarking on an unforgettable voyage through one of Australia's most spectacular natural wonders. With the sun blazing down on the crystal-clear waters, Edward made his way to the boat's edge. Taking a deep breath, he leaped into the water and was immediately enveloped by the cool embrace of the ocean. He felt his body become weightless as he sank deeper and deeper, surrounded by the mesmerizing blue-green world beneath the surface. As Edward drifted along, lost in his thoughts, the rhythmic ebb and flow of the ocean suddenly became disrupted by a frantic commotion. His gaze darted around the water, trying to locate the source of the disturbance. And then he saw them, a horde of seals, their sleek bodies darting through the water with alarming speed, followed closely by a massive group of fish, their scales glinting in the sunlight. Edward's heart quickened as he tried to make sense of the chaotic scene unfolding before him. For a moment, he could only watch in stunned silence as the creatures raced past him, their movements desperate and frantic. But then his instincts kicked in, and he knew something was chasing them. Suddenly, a monstrous creature emerged from the depths, shattering the peace with its ominous presence. It was a great white shark, a behemoth of the deep, measuring 18 feet in length. Its razor-sharp teeth glistened menacingly in the sunlight as it lunged toward Edward with terrifying speed. The attack was so sudden and unexpected that Edward barely had time to react. He tried to dodge the shark's massive jaws, but it was too late. With an awe-inspiring and terrifying ferocity, the predator sank its teeth into Edward's torso, its powerful jaws clamping down with deadly force. As the jaws of the great white shark clamped down on Edward's body, the weight of the creature's primal strength was overwhelming. Its massive serrated teeth bore down on him with crushing force. But thankfully, Edward had one last line of defense, a lead vest. The vest had been a wise decision, a crucial piece of equipment that had saved his life. But even with his protection, Edward could still feel the force of the shark's bite, as if its immense power was seeping through every crevice of the vest and into his body. He was being squeezed with the pressure of an unimaginable force, and the pain was almost too much to bear. In the moment's chaos, Edward knew he had to act quickly as the great white shark thrashed him like a rag doll, mistaking him for its prey. Its powerful jaws were still locked onto him, and the pain was excruciating. Desperate to escape the creature's grip, Edward began to fight back with every ounce of strength he had left. He punched the shark repeatedly, his fists connecting with its skin's rough sandpapery texture, but it seemed to have no effect. Refusing to give up, Edward changed tactics, using all his strength to push against the shark's massive jaws, trying to pry them apart in hopes that it would release him. But the creature was too powerful, and its grip was unyielding. As the seconds ticked by, Edward began to lose hope. The pain was becoming unbearable, and he could feel his body starting to shut down. But then, with inspiration, he remembered something he had read about in a book. Taking a deep breath, Edward summoned all of his strength and drove his fingers into the shark's eyes with all the force he could muster. The creature recoiled in pain and surprise, and its jaws loosened enough for Edward to wriggle free. The moment the shark released him, Edward sprang into action, his heart pounding with adrenaline and fear. He swam upwards as fast as he could, his arms and legs thrashing through the water with desperate urgency. Every fiber of his being was focused on escaping the predator that had just tried to claim his life. As he broke the surface, gasping for air and struggling to stay afloat, Edward looked around frantically, half expecting to see the shark again bearing down on him. But to his relief, there was no sign of the creature, and he knew that he had to act fast to get out of the water before it could attack again. As Edward collapsed onto the boat, gasping for breath and feeling his injury's pain, he knew he had been lucky to survive. He could feel the puncture marks and dents on his lead vest where the shark's teeth had come down, and he knew that his ribs were likely broken in several places. As soon as they were safely away from the site of the attack, Edward and his son wasted no time alerting the authorities. They knew that the shark posed a danger to anyone else in the water and wanted to do everything they could to prevent another tragedy. As Kali and his beloved wife commemorated their anniversary, they basked in the sun-kissed beaches of southern Brazil. The sandy shores stretched endlessly like a vast canvas, decorated with a symphony of colorful umbrellas and beach towels. The glistening waters of the Atlantic Ocean embraced the coastline, offering a cool and refreshing respite from the tropical heat. The rhythmic sounds of the waves crashing onto the shore was like a soothing melody that lulled the couple into tranquil bliss. Seagulls danced in the sky, their wingspan painting the blue horizon like brushstrokes on a canvas. The salty air filled their lungs, invigorating them with vitality. The beach was alive with the rhythm of life, a bustling hub of activity where people of all walks of life came together to enjoy the natural beauty surrounding them. Kali and his wife felt a deep connection to this place, as if they were a part of the vibrant tapestry that unfolded before them. As the sun set, the sky transformed into a vivid canvas of orange, pink, and purple hues. The couple sat hand in hand, watching as the sun sank below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the ocean. It was a moment of pure serenity that would stay with them forever. At dawn, Kali ventured out for a solitary swim, his body immersed in the tranquil waters like a graceful aquatic creature. The world was still drenched in a sleepy haze as the first rays of sunlight peeked over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold. Kali reveled in the serenity of the ocean, the gentle waves carrying him effortlessly towards the shallows. The water was crystal clear, and he could see the colorful marine life that teemed beneath the surface. Schools of fish darted back and forth, their scales shimmering like 1,000 diamonds in the sunlight. As Kali continued his leisurely swim, he suddenly felt a searing pain on his leg, like a bolt of lightning that jolted him out of his reverie. In an instant, his peaceful morning swim turned into a horrifying nightmare as he looked down to see a bull shark latched onto his leg. its jaws clamping down with crushing force. The predator refused to let go, thrashing wildly and tearing at Kali's flesh and bones with razor-sharp teeth. The once crystal-clear waters now boiled with red, a testament to the gruesome struggle unfolding beneath the surface. Kali's survival instincts kicked in, and he fought back with all his might, refusing to be dragged down into the depths of the sea. He kicked and flailed with his free leg, using it as a weapon against the relentless predator. The sound of flesh tearing and bones breaking echoed in the water as the two battled, a violent struggle for life and death. Despite Kali's resilience, the shark remained unrelenting, its grip on his leg unyielding. The predator was determined to claim its meal and would stop at nothing to do so. The battle raged on, each moment a frantic fight for survival, as the two thrashed and fought in the water. Kali was running out of options, his strength waning as the shark clamped down on his leg. He tried to fight back with punches and pushes, but it seemed futile against the relentless predator. However, with a surge of adrenaline, Kali summoned all of his remaining strength and delivered a powerful blow to the shark's snout. The predator recoiled in pain, its grip on Kali's leg loosening for a crucial moment. Seizing the opportunity, Kali quickly pulled his mangled leg out of the shark's mouth, the pain almost unbearable. But he knew he couldn't give up, not now. Summoning his last courage, he kicked the surprised creature away from him, sending it reeling in the water. It was a desperate move, but it bought him a precious moment of respite. After a fierce battle, the shark finally retreated, disappearing into the murky depths below. Kali was left alone in the water, his body battered and broken, his legs severely mangled. Summoning all of his strength, he managed to swim ashore, but the pain was almost unbearable. Thankfully, another tourist saw him, and he immediately sprang into action, using a belt as a makeshift tourniquet to stem the bleeding. It was a small act of heroism that might have saved Kali's life, and he was grateful for the stranger's quick thinking. Kali was rushed to the hospital, his condition critical. The doctors knew they had to act fast, and after a series of tests, they made the difficult decision to amputate his leg. It was a devastating blow, but Kali was grateful to be alive. A week later, Kali woke up in the hospital, his body weakened but his spirit unbroken. He looked down at the stump where his leg used to be, feeling a mixture of sadness and gratitude. Despite everything he had been through, he knew that he had been given a second chance at life and was determined to make the most of it.